Another episode of In the Trenches right here on the SFBN. You will tonight join us as we look back at week 2 in high school football around the state of Pennsylvania. Stay tuned. Good evening, high school football fans. Welcome to another episode of In the Trenches, right here on the Sports Fan Base Network. I want to thank you again for joining us, but I have to thank my co-host right here, Corey Sharp, Mike Palmer. Gentlemen, welcome back for another episode.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rich.
So we want to start off this week. We're going to go right into our analysis of this past week in high school football, but we have to start off by thanking you, the viewers at home. At last count, guys, when I looked yesterday, we had over 1,200 views from our first show previewing the entire season going forward. So we have to take a moment, thank everybody at home for taking a look at that through Facebook and through our YouTube channel. So thank you all very much for that. But I want to get right into our analysis, guys. We're going to go a little bit out of order in terms of the districts. You know, last show we went district by district. We wanted to take a look at everything that we could in our preview show. But I'm going to go actually to a big rivalry game, and I don't say it because it's my alma mater at Cheltenham, but I do want to talk about the game of the week from SFBN. Mike, you were actually at the game. You were doing color commentary there. I want to talk to you about this Cheltenham-Abington rivalry as the Cheltenham Panthers take on the Abington Ghosts.
Well, Richie, I mean, you can't say nothing more about the Cheltenham Panthers. They went out there and tried their best, but Abington was a little bit too much for them. However, the game started off, it seemed like a respectful rivalry. They're running out the tunnel together, side by side. You don't really see that often in a primetime rivalry. However, opening kickoff, Cheltenham fumbles the ball. Abington gets it really close in their own field, and Abington punches it in for the touchdown. During that touchdown, a brawl breaks loose in the first couple minutes. I'm sure you're used to that, getting shoved.
It's been a long time since I graduated from high school.
But yeah, 6 players get ejected in the first 5 minutes, which was pretty surprising. I did not expect that, especially the respectful rivalry they used to play on Thanksgiving, and I just did not expect that. 6 players getting ejected. However, we get more into the ball game. Abington gets up 35-0 really quickly. And one of their players, Jackson Taylor, the fullback, he's 6'2", definitely over 200 pounds. He was averaging 6 yards a carry, and he was just dominating. And when we get into the second half, Abington benches their starters. Cheltenham crawling back. Next thing you know, we have ourselves a ball game after an onside kick recovered by Cheltenham. Great game. They really did live up to the rivalry with the ejections and the comeback. The fans were into it, and great atmosphere. Just Cheltenham fell a little bit too short, Rich.
Always a great show between Cheltenham and Abington. I do remember my days being there. I don't remember many days of ejections, so hopefully they can get that settled and we don't have to deal with that going forward. That's not what we're here for. I do want to go on to Corey. I want to talk about North Penn at Pennsbury. You know, we're talking about an 0-2 North Penn team going against a 2-0 Pennsbury team.
Yeah, well, for North Penn, we don't usually see them start 0-2 too many times. We talked about them on our preview show, but playing Pennsbury, they won 17 straight against them, and they continued that mark, 29-20 in favor of North Penn over the weekend. So North Penn was in control most of the game. However, we see in any level of football, special teams, how game-changing that could be. And senior safety and receiver Justin Henley with a 95-yard block field goal return. So that made the score 13-0 in the first quarter. So, Pennsbury's going down to score, and then that block field goal, that really changed the whole complexion of the game. So North Penn, like I said, was ahead. They won 29-20. Pennsbury, Zach DeMarchis had a pretty good game. He was 16 of 33 for 142 yards through the air with a touchdown. Did throw 2 interceptions. He was more effective on the ground. 22 carries, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He brought his team back. Like I said, they were down 29-7. He brought him back to 29-20 with about 7 minutes left on DeMarchis' touchdown, but a failed 2-point conversion kind of put a damper on it. But they were pretty close. But so yeah, North Penn now goes to 1-2. I was looking at the standings. You don't see them that far down all the time. No. But they're 1-2. They're going to play Central Bucks West on Friday night. And Pennsbury will be at Tenet for a non-conference game.
You have to think that has to be a big game for them.
Oh yeah,
because a 1-2, you can work off of that, but you go 1-3 in the state, you're really
and Central Bucks is 3-0 by the way.
Yeah, so, you really have to worry about that then. Mike, I'm going to come over to you. I want to go to District 12. I want to go to St. Joseph's Prep and St. Peter's Prep.
Yeah, I mean District 12 is definitely one of our favorite topics here.
Yeah,
and I mean. However, St. Peter's Prep is an unknown school. It's a New Jersey team. We're familiar with them. However, they have to be a good team because St. Joe's Prep is on their schedule. And this is one of the most intriguing matchups I've seen. Just taking a look at the box score and seeing that St. Peter's Prep beat them in total yards, rushing and passing, both. Less penalties than St. Joe's Prep as well. And St. Joe's Prep still sneaks out a win, 28-21 on the road. That's a huge win for St. Joe's Prep Hawks. The thing is, St. Peter's Prep quarterback, Messiah Maynor, throws for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, but 2 interceptions. Those turnovers can kill you against a very good team in St. Joe's Prep. Good teams know how to take the turnovers and get points for them against. And, again, St. Peter's Prep star receiver, Shane Simon, 11 receptions, 168 yards, 2 touchdowns. And that's in a losing effort. So St. Joe's Prep, we talked about them in the 6A, District 12. They're a team to watch. Their running back, Colby Burrell, 18 carries, 114 yards, and a touchdown. 6.3 yards average a carry. That's just ball control, as you can see on the box score. And St. Joe's Prep got it done once again.
Well, and those are stats you can build on as you go through the year. You can build on those kinds of players. Absolutely.
Exactly. St. Joe's Prep has a huge matchup this week against Archbishop Wood, so that's definitely one of the
matchup isn't big nowadays.
Right. Yeah, very, very true. Very true. I want to stay in District 12 on this one, guys. I want to go to Corey. I want to talk Malvern Prep, LaSalle a little bit. LaSalle puts a big hurting, I guess we can call it, on North Penn. I'm sure I'm not making some North Penn fans happy here. But week 0 put a big hurting on there. Tough loss. Maryland McDonough, in week 1, that's a loss. Talk to me here.
Well, they went out and played pretty well against Malvern in a shootout, 45-21 in favor of LaSalle. Their starting quarterback actually got hurt, Isaiah Jones, against the game in Maryland. So they were going in with their backup quarterback, and Danny Selecki, and all he did was go 24 of 33 for 327 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Oh, was that all he did?
That's all he did.
That's all he did.
That's all he did. So, it's crazy, too, because it was only a 21-14 game at halftime. When you look at the final score, you think LaSalle kind of routed them.
Sure.
But LaSalle outscored them 24-7 in the second half. And that really gives them, a huge boost because you can win with your starting quarterback. Either you ride him out the rest of the year and you're feeling great about yourselves, or you insert your starting quarterback again, and you feel like you're basically getting a guy like from the trade deadline, basically.
Well, we see a lot nowadays, a dual quarterback system. Sports Fan Base Network was at Westchester. We've seen them using 2 quarterbacks as well. Sometimes offenses don't really seem settled down with the right guy, but due to injury, the guy stepped in, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. He played well. You have to look at Troy Holland for LaSalle, 7 catches, 126 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Tight end, Liam Traynor with 2 touchdowns. So really good numbers from LaSalle. A couple of noteworthy guys from Malvern. O'Shawn Allison, he's a Ohio commit. LaSalle really did a good job on him. If you look at his numbers, though, they are pretty good. 17 carries for 107 yards, but that could be attributed to a 58-yard run. So if you take that away, LaSalle did a tremendous job. And quarterback Drew Gunther, 18 for 34 for 254 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not a bad day, but sometimes you have to tip your hat to the other guys. And and LaSalle really came out. So that they have Carroll on Friday night, who's 3-1 for a conference game, and Malvern will be at Pope John of New Jersey on Saturday.
Going
a
across
lot
the
of those
state here.
conference games are starting this week, and definitely exciting to see, Richie.
Well, we've seen a couple of games that go, across the state this week and coming up ahead. I want to go over to District 10 right now. We're going to go Erie Cathedral Prep. They go over to McDowell. Big rivalry game here. I think we were joking, we were talking about a big surprise here, what we were thinking about. Prep, number 1 in PA, pretty much destroying anything in their path. We talk about McDowell, on the other hand, number 32 in 6As, but rivalries can throw us for a surprise. So, Mike, tell me about this surprise that they throw us for.
Well, thankfully we didn't have any brawls during this rivalry.
You're going to keep coming back to that, aren't you?
Yes, I mean, 6 ejections, that's pretty noteworthy. But Erie Cathedral Prep comes out, beats their rival 63-7.
Wow.
And that's just, it's unheard of. Usually rivalry games are close, no matter any game you see. NFC East.
It's not a rivalry if it's not close.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe they need a new rival, and that could be Imhotep this year, because you figure Erie Cathedral Prep's going to walk right into the state championship right there. They beat Pittsburgh Central Catholic, who was one of the favorites, and Erie Cathedral just tossed them out of the way. And now we got ourselves looking ahead, foreseeing for the 4A state championship. It could be Erie Cathedral Prep versus Imhotep. All things are shaking up for Erie Cathedral Prep. That is a very impressive win against their rival, 63-7. Nothing was working for the other team, and they'd been playing against each other for years. That's just a testament of what Erie Cathedral Prep wants to do to the division. So.
Number 32, you really, for a rivalry, we need teams to really be able to match up better in the rankings here. And that's, going number 1 against 32 just isn't going to work for us. We've got a few more districts to go through here. I want to talk about District 11 a little bit. We look at number 5, Parkland, going against number 33, Liberty. Parkland outscores their first opponents 79-6. Yeah. We're talking big. Can Liberty hold their own here, Quinn?
Well, I have to say they did. Parkland only beat them 24-7, so not bad. And Liberty had their chances. So
a loss, but a fighting loss.
A fighting loss, yes. So Parkland really relied on Jahan Worth. He had 21 carries for 110 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he was really the bell cow for Parkland. But you have to give credit to Parkland's defense too, because they made 2 key plays that really saved them the game. An interception from Mason Malazzi with 44 seconds left at the end of the first half at his own 17-yard line. So, and it was a 14-0 game. So if they go in and score there, it's 14-7. Liberty has the ball coming out in the second half. So first and goal at the Parkland 7, and Parkland comes up with a stone wall, goal line stand, stops them. And really, that just changed the game. I mean, the momentum swung after that. Really, you could have been looking at a tie game at 14 if they scored before the half and coming out. But that's not what happened. Mason Malazzi also added 18-yard touchdown run. So he was him and Jahan Worth were your 2 stars of the games.
Well, when you have momentum swinging to your way before the half, it just really can change the game. And Parkland has been a very good team lately, and Liberty putting up a good effort, but just getting unlucky with the plays before the first half, like Corey said, getting stopped on their own 7.
Yeah, first and goal at the 7. Yeah,
Got it. Just a quick news note, if I can just see that once more there. We've got one more news note. No, we're not going to do that right this second. We're going to save this. So coming up for you fans at home, we got a little bit of a news note coming up for you. Sorry about that, guys. I'm so sorry. I want to move over to District 7. I want to go to Mike for this one. We're going to go towards the west a little bit in PA. I want to look at Pittsburgh Central Catholic versus North Allegheny. North Allegheny, top 25 team in 6A. Central Catholic is the number 4 team, though. Yeah,
Pittsburgh Central Catholic, we just mentioned them losing to Erie Cathedral Prep, which is nothing to be ashamed of, because they are now ranked, Pittsburgh Central Catholic's now ranked 4th in PA. They get a huge win against Northern Allegheny, 14-7. Defensive battle. I don't know how they do it out in Pittsburgh, but the Steelers have always been the steel curtain. You had that, and great defensive game. Nothing really to mention. No highlights, no stats. Just solid gameplay by those Pittsburgh boys out there. And watch out for Pittsburgh Central Catholic. They're pissed off after that Erie Cathedral prep loss because they know they could have maybe shaken up the division a little bit more by beating the best team in Pennsylvania. So.
Well, and that's it. You're looking for that. You're looking for that fire. You're looking for that spark. Whatever can bring these players along there. All right, it's time for our final look of the week at a game here. We're going to go to District 4. Another big rivalry game. I feel like we've said that a lot in this opening show here. Big rivalry game, but two undefeated teams nonetheless. Mount Carmel, Southern Columbia. Southern Columbia, 2A state runner-up champs from last year. Number 2 in 2A this year, facing a number 11 Mount Carmel team.
Yeah, well, they came out victorious, 29-7. I think we talked about it on the previous show, how good of a program they had. This was their 54th straight regular season win. So that just shows you what kind of program that they have.
It's definitely been one of our favorite programs to watch.
Yeah.
Our first show, we've seen 90-9 since 2010. I mean, that's just awesome.
That's dominance right there.
And you go out and they play a good team in that, and you take it over.
Yes. Usually, Southern Columbia is known for their offense. I mean, they can score at will, but it was their defense really that got them the win. Essentially, they were up 15-7 in the fourth quarter when Max Tillett strip sack and Connor Fulmer recovered the ball in the end zone for a touchdown and made it 22-7. That was pretty much
game changer.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, you don't. I think the emotional piece. As a high school, football player, you come back from that.
And then it was
quickly. After
that, Gage Garcia iced the game with a 58-yard run, which made it 29-7. But you do have to give Mount Carmel credit. I mean, it was 15-7 in the fourth quarter, and that strip sack came with 10 minutes left. So on the other hand, Southern Columbia held Mount Carmel to just 100 yards total on offense. However, you still give them credit for it's a one-possession game in the fourth quarter. There's nothing more you can ask for against a team like that. So they gave themselves a shot, but did not come to fruition.
Especially with these non-league games early in the season, a lot of teams shouldn't have nothing to be ashamed of because you could build on the things that worked and just toss out the things that didn't and just build to your conference games that really mean the meat of your schedule, the mean the most. So, I mean, none of these teams should be ashamed of, except for the 63-7.
I think you just made some enemies.
And I think you did. One more thing I wanted to mention: Southern Columbia's quarterback, Stone Hollenbach. We had that kind of name. You got to sling it around a little bit.
Yeah.
And but he got the job done. He went 13 of 25 for 220 yards and a touchdown.
Great quarterback name, right?
It really is. He connected with Julian Fleming on a 53-yard touchdown right before the half to go up 12-0. Wow. So Mr. Stone lived up to his name.
Yeah, well, guys, I think in spite of some of the term rivalry that I think we throw out a lot, I think that we really are off to a good start these first few weeks of the football season. We had a chance to talk about that, analyze this week. A little bit of a news note here, what I was talking about earlier. SFBN Game of the Week. Penridge visits Souderton. It's a District 1 matchup. Do not miss that matchup right there, happening Friday, September 15th. That is this Friday, coming up to all of you at home. We have a lot of other games in action this week. I expect that on the upcoming episode of In the Trenches we'll cover. I'm going to go through a few of these really quick. We've got District 11. And guys, if you have anything you want to talk really quick, you can jump in. Easton at Parkland coming up on Friday. Penn Hills at Pine Richland, also Friday. All these games are Friday, excuse me. We've got Cumberland Valley at Bishop McDevitt, Harrisburg. And then we also have Central Dauphin and Wilson West Lawn coming up. And the last one we'll talk here for the moment, North Pocono at Scranton High on Friday. So a lot of really great matchups coming up.
Other than that, we have, once again, the Archbishop Wood St. Joe's prep matchup that we all have been hoping for. Two different levels of play. Wood being 5A, St. Joe's prep being 6A.
Yep.
However, two local teams here, because we're right on Jacksonville Road here in the studio.
Don't tell them where we are.
Don't tell them where we are. Now's where we're going to get
But so you get those two teams. I mean, they're kind of rivals now. They're fighting for the best team in PA.
That's right.
And this is the game to watch this week. I mean, Wood versus Prep, anything could happen. Both teams are looking really, really well early. And that's the game I really want to see, because we love District 12 around here.
Absolutely. But we're going to put you in charge of that one for next week.
Right.
All right. We're already putting him on assignment for next week. All right. That's going to be Mike Palmer on assignment there. All right.
Thank you, Richie.
Perfect. Guys and girls at home, thank you so much for joining us here on the SFBN. Just a reminder, we will be back here every Monday on Facebook Live, providing Pennsylvania high school football coverage the entire state. You'll get coverage, you'll get analysis, you'll get predictions, recaps, all of it right here. But in the meantime, until next week's show, make sure that you log on to www.thesfbn.com to get all of your high school sports information, including our upcoming broadcast schedule. I heard you did a nice broadcast last week, right?
Yes.
Right, but apparently you witnessed a very peaceful game.
Yes.
So we will move on from that. Again, thank you to those joining us at home. For Corey Sharp, for Mike Palmer, I'm Richie Lyways, telling you thank you so much for watching In the Trenches on the SFBN. Stay classy, be good to each other. Have a good night.